Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tyler. I don't know. This is the Baes Boyz podcast. I got to put it down real serious right now. A partner's been missing for 6 months. What you're about to hear is the contraption box that I've been building on the side. Is this really recording? It's recording. I've been building a box. We call it the AI box. I'm not going to call it that forever. I'm going to come up with a new name, but I've been filling it with Joe Skelly's thoughts. And what you're about to hear is a computerized version of Joe Skelly. AI can let you do anything. Now, when we started this podcast, we claimed that there was no AI, and there still isn't. This is like Joe Skelly's soul. So please enjoy this recording. Write the show. Let us know if you've seen the real Joe Skelly. We're still out here looking for him. But enjoy this episode of the AI Joe Skelly. Here we are. Let's do it. 39 seconds. We're back. Baes Boyz podcast. How you doing?
Do it live.
Live.
No
AI. Tell them that. Tell them
right.
There's no AI. We got to claim that. Listen, I got to talk about a bunch of stuff before you take me on crazy like things. Okay. First, we got to give a public service announcement.
All right. What's your public service announcement?
If you're eating fake B12, you need to stop.
Fake B12?
Fake B12. We talked about
As in
this.
vitamin B12?
Yes, me and the real Joe Skelly talked about this. There are two ways to make B12. There is a chemical fake way where they bring it out with some sort of like, what is it called? What is it? Not fungus, something else like that. There's literally, no joke, there is a chemical way that they fucking make this stuff to put it in your multivitamins. And then there's a regular natural B12. And you actually have to look to see which one is better for you and order those. And just so you guys know, Optimum Nutrition is not the better one.
Oh.
Don't buy that shit anymore.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed when you take that stuff, it makes you feel a little loopy?
I've never had Optimum
Nutrition. You never tried ON Whey when we were growing up with the whey powder? Are you serious?
Never.
What brands did you like?
As
Tren? D-Ball?
We talking about
this?
vitamins?
Well, we were.
Flintstone?
We were. Flintstones? Flintstone vitamins.
I think I had Flintstone chewable vitamins when I was a kid.
You're a Muscle Milk fan, aren't you?
Oh, no.
No. He's like, no. They don't let you have that in the circus? They're like, no supplements?
No supplements.
No supplements. Just pure trapeze pull-ups, natural?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Damn, that's messed up.
I'm not a big supplement guy, or I wasn't.
So I was watching an interview with a doctor who has his own supplement company. He was talking about it. He goes,
so this is all propaganda.
No. This guy's a famous doctor to make it so your shit doesn't fall apart as a man.
And he wants to make his millions off of you.
No,
by blackballing everybody else.
He said it. He goes, well, here's the thing. So he said it, if you pay for the man-made one, it's actually cheaper because they're pulling the acid, the way that they're making it and mixing the chemicals. This is the stuff we talked about last year where they were pulling the what the fuck? I'm marauding here. What is the stuff on top? Bacteria. Thank you. They're pulling bacteria that they have to mix with these chemicals to make fake B12, and they put it in your food.
Why? So fake B12 because it's cheaper?
Cheaper, 1,000% cheaper. The reason the gentleman who made this company
is
brought
it still
up,
B12?
It is a form of B12 that is extracted synthetically, yes.
So it's synthetic B12 as opposed to natural B12.
Right.
And what's the difference?
It's
not his product.
The difference is that shit that they're using that's fake is pulled off of bacteria from waste plants.
So, okay, so you're eating
like
poop,
human waste
you're eating
plants.
Poop B12.
Yes.
Versus natural B12.
And it completely makes you sick.
Oh, well, there you go.
Can make you sicker. They're saying that the reason that they're bringing it down is because they can get it cheaper from China. Like 1,000%. The guy who said he made his own supplement company said the people who were manufacturing fucking actually came to him and said, hey man, why do you want to use the natural B12? We can save you almost $1 a shot just by not using that and using the synthetic Chinese made shit with the bacteria poopy water.
And that's what everybody else is doing.
That's what normal ones are. Yes.
Oh.
And you can actually look this up right on your bottle for a synthetic B12. It's got a name. I can't remember the name right now. I have a whole bunch of names written in my thing here. We got cobalt, B12, folic acids, hydrogen cyanide. That's what they're really fucking mixing with your fake B12 is the hydrogen cyanide with the bacteria that creates.
Oh, this is what they talked about in your energy drinks.
Right. So some energy drinks do have the fake B12. You could be drinking poopy energy right now, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, to our listeners out there sucking down those energy drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who you are.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
So enjoy that poop drink. Just stop drinking that shit. Listen, I take ON, and I've been taking those forever, and I've always told people, they're like, oh, yeah, you take multivitamin? I'm like, yeah. When do you take it? I'm like, you have to take it right in the morning. Because if you don't, it fucking makes you feel fucked up all day.
Well, then why are you taking it?
I thought that's how it's supposed to make you feel. How am I supposed to know how it's supposed to make you feel when
I just wouldn't be taking a product that makes me feel fucked up.
Everything makes me feel fucked up. You drink coffee, it makes you feel fucked up. Drink soda, it makes you feel fucked up. The only people that are running around drinking coffee and energy drinks and all this other shit that don't feel fucked up are the people that are so fucked up all the time, they haven't not been fucked up from those energy drinks. You know what I'm talking about. We got friends who have monsters in their hands 24/7. You know what I mean? Their energy levels are like through the roof all the time. We know those guys.
Oh, I'm sure they're out there.
Listen, one of our listeners sent me a picture of his bucket where he collects his energy drink cans. You know who you are. A listener sent this in and was like, hey, this is how many energy drinks I drink. Is this bad?
Yes.
And I was like,
bad.
homie,
that's how you get heart disease.
Right. That's how you end up in the hospital for more MRIs and whatnot. Because
Right.
your brain's going to melt from all that folic acid shit that you're drinking.
Let's not do that.
Just stop drinking energy drinks altogether.
How about that?
And don't eat any poop B12.
Black coffee and espresso.
Dude, I don't see...
And then chase it down with a bunch of water.
Right. I don't see
You'll
what
be
the
good.
problem with the black coffee.
It's natural.
All right.
Especially if you get the one picked by Juan Valdez. That's supernatural.
Oh, my God.
Because it's a guy
It's like Joe Rogan.
picking the coffee for you.
One guy. It's just one.
It's his name on there.
With the hat.
Yeah.
This is the guy with the hat, right?
And he's got the
In
burro.
the white uniform?
He's got
It
the
is
burro.
the same guy.
He's got
I
the
was
burro with the
joking.
bags
You're
on
dead
it.
serious.
I'm
yeah.
dead serious.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
won't
yeah.
drink the Kopi Luwak.
No, you're
That's the
fucking
most-
rat poop coffee.
That's the most natural way to consume it.
Oh, listen,
What
the
Kopi
fuck
Luwak?
is wrong with you?
It's Kopi Luwak, Luwak. That is the most natural coffee to consume because it's already been processed by an animal.
Listen, I watched. Did you? I was watching that corny show, Jack Reacher, right? The one about the Army MP.
Okay.
And he's doing this thing where he ends up with this bad group of guys, and they're sitting there, and the rich guy's like, "Hey, do you want some coffee?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess." And so he gives him a coffee, right? And the maid walks through and goes, "Do you like the coffee?" He goes, pretty not bad. And she goes, "Well, it comes from the buttholes of animals, and it's poop coffee. Enjoy it." And the dude just stares and is kind of like, "What did you just say?" Anyways, I thought that was interesting. It's the first time in television I've ever seen anyone talk about your poop coffee.
Yeah.
So tell them again. It's for rich people.
But it's expensive.
Rich people only.
It's expensive.
Right. What do you think it costs? Shaggy, look up poop coffee, please.
Kopi Luwak.
Is it bad?
It's expensive.
You have a fucking look on your face like you know that it's bad.
It's expensive.
Oh.
I bought a very.
Oh, no.
I've had it before. I bought it.
Why don't I remember this?
Listen, and there's fake shit out there too. So don't look up.
Oh, no.
Don't look up the fake
That's
stuff.
got folic acid and B12 poop in it.
No,
For sure.
it
The fake stuff does. What? $20 a cup? My man, you living on the Starbucks
listen.
Starbucks life?
I'm not
What's
talking
going on
about
over
a cup.
here?
Look up the ground coffee. Look up the beans. How much does it cost? Package of the beans. I think it's a company called Animal Coffee, something like that. That's real stuff. They have people collect it.
Yeah. You want to be that guy for a living?
Your job is to go around the jungle and
Collect
pick up
shit.
cat shit full of coffee beans
Oh, dude, why?
because
I
it
wanna
tastes
be this
delicious.
And then you got to be the sifter?
Yeah.
You're
So
like
what
the
they do is they
sifter?
dry it out, right?
Mm,
And then they break it up and take the beans out, and then they roast the beans.
that's fucked up, homie.
Right.
Oh!
For how many? 12 ounces. For 12 ounces. $250 for 12 ounces.
Or if you go the Chinese B12 made way, you get a lot cheaper. Either way, you about to get high on some shit. Puns all intended. All
intended.
over your face.
Right.
Poopy puns all over your face. You about to be fucked.
You're welcome.
That's gross.
That's the animal.
Oh, no.
The
we've seen
jungle
that.
civet cat.
Yeah.
Eats
Good.
because coffee is a berry.
Good.
And the bean is inside the berry, and they eat the
Good.
berries.
We need more berries.
And so what happens is this jungle civet cat runs around the jungle eating coffee berries, and then he poops out the beans.
I don't even want to know anymore about this.
Then they dry out the poop, and then they take the beans and roast the beans. And it's delicious.
It's fucking disgusting.
Well,
Listen, the real Joe
in the
Skelly.
eye of the beholder.
I don't know if the real Joe Skelly would have drank it too. As you do.
Apparently AI Joe Skelly drinks it.
I mean, you have all his memories, so maybe if you know something that I don't know. Listen, I want to talk about something that I forgot to talk about 3 weeks ago, and we've been kind of on it, but it's bee season, right? It's coming up.
Coming up.
Am I wrong?
Nope.
Have you heard about vulture bees?
Vulture bees?
Vulture bees.
Are those the ones that eat meat?
Oh, they are. You have heard
From
about
like
it.
South America?
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, they eat meat and they make honey.
They make their hive out of meat, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine putting your hand in that.
I wouldn't.
It's just, go ahead and look up some vulture meat or vulture
Yeah,
bees
just
over there for him. How does it?
Would you eat honey from the hive?
There is no,
It's called meat honey.
bro, is that real?
Yes, it's real.
But I'm saying, do you think that real, how does honey ferment out of flesh? That's what I'm wondering here.
You
Where's
still
the
need
science?
pollen.
Oh, so we still need pollen.
Right.
So they're mixing the pollen with the meat. Oh, dude, I don't know if that's worse or not. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I saw that part. I saw the pictures. It was fucking rank, dude. Could you imagine working with vulture bees, though?
What a weird adaptation that is.
Do you think you'd wear your suit all the time?
You would have to. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
They're obviously going after carcasses of dead animals.
You
right?
think they
like
chase-
vultures? I don't think they're eating live meat, but I'm not sure that they wouldn't take a bite out of you if you were sleeping and you looked like you were dead.
Dude, what the fuck? You think they've got some animalistic, we can tell what the temperature of this body is before we eat it type thing? They're like, oh, that guy's 102 degrees.
Maybe they work off electromagnetic fields, right? And if your body's producing electromagnetic field,
don't kick
that they know you're alive, and if there's no electromagnetic field, they know you're not alive.
Oh, like the platypus.
Yes.
The platypus uses electric magnetic fields to see everything.
Oh yeah.
It actually goes fully blind and deaf in the water.
Oh yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's another science
That's
experiment.
That's like that dolphin shit, right?
Do you think
Where the dolphins with their sonar beaming like images into your head, right?
We know that's true.
That's a true story.
Listen, how are we not the most famous podcast in the world? We bring the worst shit that you could imagine. Like just the most horrible shit.
It's not even the horrible shit. We talk about things and then what? And what happens? 2 years later,
it comes out. Yeah, you got to stop doing that too.
Yeah.
Because that's scary. We're like the Simpsons, basically.
Oh, you know what I got out in the truck?
What? Simpson stuff?
No. I brought the maps. From Pine Mountain.
Oh, good. I
brought the Pine Mountain maps.
For some reason, I was thinking of a Ouija board map, but I'm like, why would you have that? Yeah, never mind. Yeah. Good. We're going to review those.
Right.
We need to review those. We need to post them. We'll put that up on our Patreon for the secret love of Patreon.
Now, remember when we were talking about Bigfoot? We were talking about Bigfoot stories.
Yeah.
And I told you there's the legend of the painter who was up on the Northwest coast who was painting forests and trees and mountains and shit like that.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted his Native American guide, his indigenous guide, to take him over to Mount St. Helens to paint. And they were like, no, we don't go over there. There's a big tribe of hairy people that are cannibals. We don't fuck with them.
Right.
That painter's name, I found it, was Paul Kane.
Paul Kane.
Yep.
We're going to have to check that out.
He was the one that wanted to go to Mount St. Helens. I think he was Canadian, as a matter of fact. And I think he was actually commissioned by the Canadian government to paint all those things. And the indigenous people were like, fuck you, we don't go over there. Right?
They wanted to know. They don't want to get fucked on by the Bigfoot.
No, fuck no, they don't. So it was interesting. I'm glad I was able to track that down.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that, my man.
Yeah, he knew what was up. He looks like he could be related to Joe Skelly.
Right.
He's like, I got to explore this Bigfoot thing. What
you need to remember is when you go into an event, you always got to remember it's 2 cellos, not 2 chains. Don't make that mistake.
I feel like this is going to go wrong.
We've already talked about this, but I'm just bringing it
2
full circle.
cellos,
not 2 chains.
Oh.
Because you don't want to go to the symphony screaming 2 chains because you think you're about to see a gangster ass rap show.
You technician rapper heads are all crazy.
And it turns out
that's what the problem is.
It was for 2 cellos.
You've been to
chains.
so many fucking rap shows, you just don't know which one's which anymore.
Apparently not.
I believe it.
Apparently not.
I believe it.
2 cellos and 2 chains sound very similar.
They do.
Right.
They do. But when a dude without a gold necklace doesn't come out running, screaming, and throwing dubs at you, like, you kind of wonder.
Well,
it's a bunch of white people in suits with cellos.
Right. Well, they were.
You were like, man, this is quite diverse.
I couldn't figure out why the girl I was with at the time was getting pissed off that I was trying to make signs that said 2 chains. I wanted to take them with me to hold them up, to be a supporter in the crowd. Fan. And they're like, you can't fucking take those. And I'm like, fuck you, I can't. Look, it causes issues. 2 cellos,
not 2 chains.
Yeah,
that's a thing right there.
It is a thing. How about I got some deep ass knowledge, right? We talked about Pokemon cards before.
Uh-oh.
I just learned some deep knowledge shit on some Pokemon cards. So
what'd you learn?
So for the people who are really into buying and selling boxes of Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you can buy the unopened boxes, They auction them off. Sometimes, right?
Trying to catch
Trying to catch whatever famous one.
Wooble Danger Whistler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about this? The real traders of those cards weigh the boxes. And if they don't come to a certain weight, they don't even open them, they'll auction them. Because they know that the famous ones in there are not in there.
Get the fuck out of here.
Because those cards are wrapped in foil, and it makes those cards weigh more.
But then you would have to know the exact weight of a paper card box.
They do.
Then that's some cult shit.
That's deep as fuck.
I feel like that's some cult shit.
I learned that from somebody who's in touch with some heavy-duty card traders. They weigh the boxes. And if they don't weigh like down to a very specific like 0.02 ounces, they won't open it. They'll auction it off because they know the high-end cards aren't in there.
Fuck, I wonder if you could do that with packages before they're opened.
I just know about the big boxes, but I'm sure there's a way to be able to
for them to
individual packages. Yep.
Dude, sports collectors are nutters. Like they're just on a whole different level.
Like, a lot of those, there is a lot of money to be made in those sports cards. In Magic the Gathering cards and Pokemon cards. Oh, there's some of those Pokemon cards go for millions of dollars.
Listen, all I'm saying is there was a time in the world where all of a sudden toilet paper was the gold. So in that world, do those cards apply still?
You have to remember, people are only going to pay. It's only worth what people are willing to pay.
Right.
Right? You're right. Toilet paper was worth gold at one point.
Yeah, so what
Because
happened?
everybody forgot they owned a fucking shower. But anyway. And T-shirts. Like, I'm not going to shoot somebody at the fucking superstore over a 52-pack of toilet paper. It's not worth getting into a gunfight about.
Right.
Because I got a fucking shower, my man.
Yeah.
How about the rest of the world uses a bidet?
Right.
We're the only country that don't.
Still wiping our ass with paper.
Yeah, we're still wiping our ass with paper.
Prehistoric and perfect in every way.
No, it's not. I'm buying a bidet. Fuck this. I'm over this.
It's like the
either that or take your ass outside, scoot your ass around on the grass like a dog.
Right. That's still better. Remember that dude we met a few months ago who had the collectible setup, and he was like, yeah, I got, $60,000 worth of collectibles, and he just had it in his fucking basement, bro. Like, just shit strewn everywhere, like real nice and everything, but it's like wall-to-wall plaques with jerseys, helmets and display cases that are 6 high with fucking helmets. And he's like, yeah, this helmet's worth $600. This helmet's worth $3,000.
Because somebody's willing to pay that, right? But that doesn't mean they're always going to be worth that.
No, absolutely not. We were just talking about in our culture the other day.
I mean, what happened to that football player that killed all those people, right, and went to jail?
Is his stuff worth a lot?
Is his shit worth, that Aaron, what's his face, is his stuff worth a lot of money? I don't know. Maybe it is.
Will be now.
Because now there's 2 groups of collectors looking for it.
Yeah, football fans and psychos.
Right, the murder people.
Yeah. We found that what's the website we found the other day? Murderauction.com.
Oh, right.
I was on there, bro. I was like, I looked around for 5 seconds, got a little flashback from being in 3rd grade. I'm like, I gotta get off here. Somebody's going to find me. Somebody, Ron.com. I don't want to be here.
Right.
Like, it's just
murderauction.com.
It was awkward, bro. I just needed to know if it was legit. And I didn't even use a VPN. So I was like, I really got to get the fuck out of here. 30 seconds. And Connor's like, what's he doing? Notify the desk sergeant.
Oh, you're talking about the FBI agent attraction.
The guy's watching us.
Yeah.
He's on that murder website trying to buy a hand.
Get the warrants ready.
He's got a squirrel. Get him.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
Yeah. Speaking of VPNs, I talked to the guy from Uganda.
Yeah.
Our one listener from Uganda.
Yeah. How's he doing?
He's doing pretty good. I'm just glad he's not like asking me to send money for the lottery ticket.
For the king?
For the king?
For the king.
Who wants to transfer
he's slightly broke, but if you help him out, man, he's going to get you a Rolex.
He wants to transfer $40 million to my bank account, so he just needs my social security number.
We need both those accounts now.
I did talk to him, and he said he was changing his location to, where was it?
The UK, so we can send memes out of it.
No, yeah, that was it.
That's literally where I think we need to go.
Yeah, I think he said, I'll have to find where he was that day. I was talking to him. That was pretty impressive, though.
Listen, I don't want to say that we're a conspiracy podcast. I don't want to say that we're a ghost podcast, but we are definitely 1,000% an anti-government podcast. So welcome to the show. If you know how
he was in Estonia.
Estonia?
He was in Estonia that day.
If you know how to make that money from Estonia, baby, do it. We support all of you.
He did say he was wearing his baseball cap backwards and he had a goatee and he had the glasses on. The only thing he was missing was a Monster Energy. People you said to avoid.
Oh, yeah.
Last episode, yeah.
Gas cans and Monster Energy is 100% Oakley gas cans. You want to avoid those guys for sure. So listen, we have a listener submitted story.
Oh,
apparently we were talking about, remember a while back we were talking about your famous bar, your fluorescent bar?
No, I don't recall.
Bukishima?
Oh, Boom Boom Fukushima.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, the one I want to make.
Yeah.
It has the waterfall that comes down the wall that glows in the dark. Yeah, because it's going to be like neon lights and white water. Yeah, it's going to be sweet.
Yeah, so check this out. This is a comment that I got from a listener.
Okay.
Sometime in the 80s, my stepdad found a 12-inch ball of aluminum foil in the closet of his mother's apartment. She was in her 80s, I guess. Smoke detectors back then would eventually die, even if you charged the battery, and had a warning note to not to dispose of them in the trash because they were radioactive.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They contained americium.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you. She had wrapped the thing up like it was a demon core and put it in the closet.
Hold on. Did she take the radioactive material out of the smoke detector and wrap it in
the whole unit.
Just the whole unit?
Just the whole unit. Luckily for her, you could buy 30 rolls of aluminum foil back then without...
Like the real aluminum foil.
Yes,
not
without the scrutiny of the DEA.
Yeah.
So apparently her whole life, she thought because she couldn't throw it in the trash,
she had to hold on to it.
That she should wrap it in aluminum and stick it in the closet.
And just sit on it.
On it.
Forever.
That's how we handled stuff.
Okay.
Now what you got to think is that's grandma's radioactive beeper?
It's right. But
right,
it's
right.
Not
which
that
it's not.
radioactive.
Right. But here's what I'm thinking.
You could. Never mind.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Stop talking.
Right. We're not gonna. Don't give them any ideas.
Bill, it was a joke.
AI,
Bill, that was a joke, okay? Don't
yeah.
get no warrants, all right?
AI, if it was just a simulation, how would you do it? No, I'm joking. Don't say anything anymore.
Bill, again.
So anyways.
Bill, if you're listening, no warrants.
My point is this, dude.
Prank caller.
What about miners or like coal diggers who were older and retired from their job and had boxes of dynamite, debt cord, charges, just other people who would be like, hey, I know I'm not supposed to throw this in the trash. Let me stick it in the closet.
Oh, you hear about those stories all the time.
There has to be tons of
like back
shit.
in the day when people bring war trophies home, and it turns out there were like mortars and hand grenades.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, right?
You think there's anything they brought home that was more organic that they shoved in the closet? They're like, oh, I got this fucking 5-finger discount hand. Let me shove it in the closet.
All I know is that there was a lake that was around me, and at some point in time they drained the lake, and at the bottom of the lake they found like rifles and pistols and Tommy guns and hand grenades and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh,
because after a certain time, right, these people who brought these war trophies home were like, well, I better get rid of it, and they just throw it in the local lake. They came out with a
new law. I'm not allowed to have it.
Throw it in the local lake, right?
Dude, that is freaking wild.
Oh yeah.
And again, shout out to our boy's grandma who was
keeping the radioactive material.
The radioactive. She probably saved your life.
It was probably more radioactive back then too. As time goes on, they learned how.
It was like Coke. They were still using the real deal.
Yeah, right.
At first,
right.
They're like, this is the good stuff that we shoved in here. Okay, so don't even fucking worry about it, man. You can't listen. Back to what we were saying earlier, guys. You can't consume these drinks anymore. The only approved list on the Baes Boyz podcast drink is Arizona iced tea. Because he hasn't changed the fucking thing in 50 years.
And he said he won't.
He's refusing to. There's no tariff that will ever bring that tea up.
Oh, Lord. We have to go here.
Ever. It's not happening, man. It's not happening. Take us back to let's go left and go back to the Bigfoot thing, though. Let's talk about this fucking missing 411 again. What is? Oh, yeah. I watched the fucking one with the kids, dude.
So
that one was fucked up.
The missing 411. You want to explain to the listeners what it is? It was a series of books written by a guy who is a former homicide detective,
and
who ended up decided to study missing people in national parks.
Right.
And how all these people in national parks and national forests and things like that, even outside of the national park system, how kids and people would just randomly disappear. But the weird thing is they were disappearing in clusters, right?
Right.
Like the same spot would have six different people, not all at the same time, right? At different points in time and different years, but they were always in the same spots.
Just always disappearing in the same areas.
Right. And so he tried to use his homicide detective skills to figure out what was going on. And it's in the series on not Netflix, but on Amazon is based off of a couple of his stories from his books,
right?
Like in investigations that he had worked on.
What did you think about that couple who lost the kid between two adults of like 50 yards? That was sketch as fuck, dude. Those people, did you hear like the and I don't know if this is more of a regional thing where they're from, but the fact that guy was like, well, the best thing that I could do for that little boy is keep looking for him. And it's like, homie, that little boy is your kid.
Right.
Like you keep talking about him like.
Well, there might be a regional dialect thing.
What about the time when the girl was like, or no, sorry, not the girl. That other friend with the teeth who was like, I was up there too with him and we was fishing. You know what I'm talking about? He was a more of a.
Is it what
this was still the
jumping story.
This was still the 411 kid who disappeared between the two parents and the grandfather.
Right. Explain the story.
So they were just at a campsite and they were walking up and down a stream looking to fish. Right, on a trail. And the grandfather and the grandfather's weird friend were on one side. The couple were walking deeper into the forest and they had asked their little 2-year-old, hey, do you want to go with us? And the little 2-year-old turned around and started to walk towards his grandfather. And then in between both of those parties, somehow this kid disappeared.
So the kid was walking in between the grandparent and the parents.
Yep. And the kid, and they said that they walked maybe 50 yards, could still see the other party. The kid walked back and connected to the grandfather. The two parents continued on, found a stream of minnows where they were all kind of sorted together, and you could see in a part of the stream where the minnows were. The dad was like, oh, he'd really like to see this, turned around, went back to go get the kid, asked the grandfather where the kid was, and the grandfather looked around for a minute and said he was gone. This all happened within like 15 minutes, is what this whole party's claiming. This is 4 adults who lost a 2-year-old within 50 yards of each other.
Yeah, but how many times as a parent have you gone to a store with a little kid and a little kid disappears on you in the store?
I mean, me never, but I used to steal Mega Beast's kids when she wasn't looking, just to prove it to her that the kid could be snatched. She would get fucking livid, bro. You know what I'm talking about, like a little Tim test, you know?
Right.
She looks away and snatch one of the kids out and be like, babe, that kid, you weren't paying, like, you're not paying enough attention because you turn your back on him, you walk down the aisle for 3 minutes. You know what I mean?
I remember as a kid, I used to run off and hide inside the clothing racks.
Yeah, you used to hang your head out the window too, remember? They didn't like that either. What are you doing over there, Joe Skelly?
But yeah, you're hiding in the clothing. Dude, and you didn't know how. Like, I can't imagine not being able to find, like, turn back around and my kid's gone.
No,
right?
Absolutely not.
And it's even scarier that it happens in a fucking forest, right?
Right.
Because did an
With
animal?
Zero trace, zero evidence. That was the craziest part now where they're like, there's zero trace. But again, those people speaking, like the one guy, the friend of the grandfather who was like, you know, just, it looked like a mess. Like that guy definitely looks guilty of something. I don't know what, but he was like, well, we stayed up there and looked for the kid until the police told us we could go home. And I'm like, what do you mean told you can go home, bro?
Told you could go home or told you to go home.
Right.
There's a difference.
Like, there's a huge difference.
Well,
right.
Maybe that dude wasn't speaking right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So we're chalking it up to grammar barrier? So you think they're not guilty of dispatching of the kid?
Here's my thought. If one person wanted to do it, I don't think all of them would be compliant in saying, oh, yeah, the kid just disappeared.
Rock and roll.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if one of them was fucked up and did it to the kid,
right?
There were 3 other witnesses.
Yeah. Yeah, the grandfather was weird. The whole grandfather thing was just weird. You know, they were like, "Oh, do you still?"
But that's not even the most I mean, you're saying this is a shocking part of the documentary. What was the premise of all these?
Shocking part is how many of these children have disappeared without evidence. Zero evidence
in these forests. Yeah.
Just absolutely not even evidence of a mauling, not evidence of an animal, not evidence of a hunting accident. You know, and that's just the kid ones. That whole documentary was just on the youngins who have somehow magically evaporated
in a forest.
In these forests. We're talking no body evidence. We're talking, you know, nothing. I know the one kid they were talking about, I don't think this was the same kid because there's so many stories in that thing, but the one kid they were talking about, they're like, oh, we found his clothing perfectly intact, just hanging out.
Right.
They're like, so either he took off his clothes before he got mauled, you know, or somebody had him take off his clothes before, which of course that goes into a dark space because you're like, shit, you know, dumping evidence. I get it. You know, if it's some sort of a bad person, not a
bad actor, right?
Right. Not a mountain lion, but a bad human. I could see dumping evidence, you know.
Yeah, but here's the question. How do these kids disappear in front of their parents?
Yeah, that's the freaky thing. That's the part that makes no sense. Is where they're going. How about the one where the lady said a kid walked out of the woods just randomly?
Right.
She was like, "Oh, young kid, naked, just walked out of the woods."
We're like,
nothing wrong with him. We're just hanging out hiking.
Where did you come from?
Right.
Where are your parents?
Can't explain it. Don't know where they are. And then, of course, and adding to all that evidence is the actual evidence finding far away. If we go to the other book where they were talking about professional hunters in the same areas, you're talking
guys who've been in the woods their 40 something years spent in the woods hunting and fishing.
The one dude was like a 70s ranger, bro, or some shit. They're like, yeah, he was a ranger from the ranger unit, been in the military his whole career, was out in the woods every other week for days at a time. Just disappears. No,
everything gone.
no evidence.
No evidence.
No nothing.
No rifle left behind.
And then they find his boots. What'd they say? So there was one guy, they said they found him. The autopsy revealed that he had no chemical change from hypothermia, but they still said that he died from
Exposure.
Right, which was really weird. The guy was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why'd the coroner write that? Absolutely not. And I believe this was the same case where they had FBI guys show up to take notes.
There's all kinds of weird shit going on.
So they're like, oh, this guy was out in the cold naked, but he didn't die from anything.
He just died randomly?
Right. She's not frozen. Like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, it makes zero fucking sense. Oh, we can't establish the time. We can't establish a cause of death because he was out in the elements. Gee, I wonder what that means. Right? His arm's still intact. It wasn't a fucking bear, homie.
Yeah, so wild animals didn't kill him.
Right. So he's got all his teeth. He's fucking fine. You know, all this fucking bullshit, but he's completely naked. And they said he had somehow trekked 9 miles from the gear that they did find. They're like, oh, he dropped all his gear and walked 9 miles naked.
Right.
Yeah, that's not logical.
Well,
they started out with...
when people get deep hypothermia, the first thing they do is they strip down because they think they're hot. The brain is, when you get in that severe hypothermia, the brain thinks it's overheating. And what the victims do is they strip down naked.
I mean, as you know, if it was some city slicker who fell off a fucking cliff, I could see that happening. But how does my man who's in the woods every other week get to that level?
That he doesn't realize he's that hypothermic?
Right. When he, by the way, they spoke that now that you're saying that does remind me that one of the family members pointed out, they said he had gear on him. Right. He had all of his gear.
Right.
All of his gear.
Isn't this the one where they said he started to fire and made a shelter?
That might have been the one. It's so convoluted because there's so many of them.
Right.
There's fucking so many of them, bro.
People just randomly disappearing.
The ranger guy just completely disappeared. They said they didn't even find him.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
The other guy that I think you're talking about who did that, he ended up throwing his gear down and then walking 9 miles. There's like, bro, there's no way.
But then they found his boots like 12 miles in the opposite direction.
Right. Perfectly like fucking
weird,
set up.
Weird shit.
Yep. There was the other one that they found. There was a kid one. Remember? They found like some of his gear. They found a fucking random tooth. A tooth, bro.
Right.
What were you doing with a tooth?
Yeah, I don't know.
One of the younger kids that they were talking about who had disappeared, they found his gear and his shoes. They found his gear and his shoes. What did they say? They were like, oh, we found it, 6 miles from here. And they had 2 grown-ass men who were like, there's no fucking way a 2-year-old made it this far.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was this the kid
nowhere.
they found hiding in a shed somewhere?
Yeah,
and they're like, how did he go 9 miles in less than 12 hours?
Right. Oh, yeah. That one too.
Right.
I think that might have been the same one.
Through the woods.
Yep.
And he kept saying he saw this big giant man following him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like
and he was like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, there's no way, bro.
And they're like, how did he not die of hypothermia? Right. How did he go X amount of miles through the woods at night and end up here?
Yeah, and on those ones they were talking about the I don't know what they're called, but it's like hills of slate and shit.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, there's so much rock here. They're like, it's mixed in with the trees. Like they're like, the one dude said, if you didn't have a pair of real hiking boots, he goes, if you didn't have a hard soled hiking boot, he goes, your feet are shot. He goes, you can't even make this trek. Not even a little bit. And fucking 2-year-olds in shitty Tractor Supply boots, are making it 9 miles.
Crazy stories.
There's no way.
Yeah. So would you recommend that the listeners watch this series on Amazon?
Oh, if you're into that weird disappearing,
the missing 411,
the missing 4 fucked up shit. I mean, if you like that stuff. I don't know how we end up on those mysteries. I think we should be a mystery podcast now.
Maybe. I don't know. I just found it incredible because, and he's like, look, I did 20-something years of homicide.
It's illogical.
And he goes, and I've put all my power and I've brought in all this evidence and all these other people to help me research these disappearances, and none of it makes sense.
Oh, that was the other thing too. So he said they brought out the dogs for the one in the shed,
and
they said the footsteps went up to the shed, the campsite, and never went any further. So the trail of that the dogs caught,
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, the dog caught a trail, sat at the campsite, sat at the second location that was, 20 feet away or whatever, wherever the kid was hiding. He goes, but past that, there was nothing. So if the dog's not picking up a trail past this and he's sitting right here, he's telling you the kid never went past this location. He goes, we should have been able to find these people here.
Right.
Because how did the kid get away from that? How is a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or even a fucking 80-year-old dodging a fucking canine scent?
That's good. Training.
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 Right. We're going to go out later and rub some mud in our buttholes. We're going to be dodging all kinds of scents, motherfuckers. We got a little mix of Predator, a little mix of Fled. Got to get in that water to throw them off.
That doesn't work.
No. Yeah. I'm going to wash my scent in this muddy water.
Yeah, none of that works.
That's not how that works, guy.
None of that works.
Now you just got chafing in your crotch and wet shoes.
Right, that's not how.
And that dog's going to eat
your
ass.
By the way, I've talked to people who do tracking with dogs.
Yeah.
That's not how any of that works.
No, not at all. You're not hiding from that fucking dog like that.
There are ways to do it, but that's not the way.
So.
And don't Google that. You might.
Yeah. Connor's going to be on your ass.
Bill, stop. Again, no search warrants.
You don't want to Google that. It's much easier just to go to YouTube and learn how to scent train a dog. That way you can learn how to break scent a dog. It's much easier. And then it's not labeled anything bad. It's right on YouTube. There you go.
There you go.
Everything can be reverse engineered. All right. So yeah, I don't know, man. The mystery of those dudes, that's the one that's scary, is the older guys.
What, the guys with 30, 20, 30, 40
years of experience
in the woods just vanishing without a trace.
And that one dude was talking about all those sounds. So the hunter group was talking about
Are you talking about the Sierra sounds?
Yep.
And we've talked about that before.
We have. We've covered them.
We've covered it, but you've never actually seen.
No, the
until
interview.
Now.
Yeah, the interview.
Yeah,
and
the interview.
That dude was like, is it embarrassing to talk about this? He's like, why? He's like, you know what's happening out here? People be disappearing every day. He's like, and I'm so old, who the fuck cares about me? He goes, there's people missing. You can't explain it. And they were out there. They've got them howling at the whatever it was out there, howling. They're talking about how they frequency-wise, it can't be matched to a human.
Oh, all right. So the story was, in this section, it was outside of a national park.
In the 70s.
In the 70s.
They recorded.
They went to a hunting camp that the families had since like the 40s, right?
Yep.
And they take pack mules into this place. And it takes 3 days on pack mule to get there. And they recorded what sounds like probably 6 different individual creatures, if
overlap talking.
Overlap talking.
And then also talking to them.
Right.
So they're on the recording trying to make noises. And a lot of the tech guys were like, look, dude, you could do this now, but in the 70s, you couldn't make this up.
Right. They went even to
no,
like Navy cryptography people and all these.
There was no way to fake what was happening on these tapes.
And what they recorded.
Right. With the overlapping sounds.
And they turned it over to these tapes over to linguists. And even linguists were like, this is like a language.
Right.
We don't know what the language is, but it has the same structures as a language has.
And this dude was talking about, he goes, I heard something along the lines of a car door closing out here once. He goes, and there's no cars out here. He goes, we're 9 miles in.
Oh, he was they're more than 9 miles in.
He's like,
place.
there's no way that there's a car in here or anything of the sort. He goes, and you know what that is? That's some big ass thing smashing shit.
Right.
You know, just breaking stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and you can catch some of this interview, not necessarily on the Missing 411. You could probably find it on YouTube under the Sierra Sounds.
Yeah.
And allegedly it's a recording of a troop of Bigfoots or a family group of Bigfoot
1,000%
talking to each other. And it literally sounds like they're speaking a language. That's the weird part.
And it almost, it absolutely does. I was just going to say, it sounds like animal sounds, but with too much articulation. Like there's no, you expect to hear a thing howl, you expect to hear a grunt or a roar or whatever. You don't expect the same sound to be like, har, 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 and keep doing it.
Right.
And them just fucking going back and forth.
And they're communicating with each other.
And they're overlapping.
Right.
So they're going back and they're 100% going back and forth. They're responding to each other. We know the orcas can respond. We know the whales are doing the fucking sound thing. We know the dolphins are doing the imagery thing. It's like, we know the duck-billed platypus sees in the dark, even though he is blind and deaf. And doesn't even have a stomach, by the way.
Right now.
Shoots poison out of his feet,
And
lays eggs. Bro.
It doesn't have nipples to give its babies milk, but
comes out of its armpits.
It sweats milk.
Oh, bro. What is happening? Maybe that's it, dude. Maybe we just need a platypus in the studio.
Listen, in the great scheme of things, when the Almighty was creating creatures on Earth, like the platypus is the biggest fucking joke in the world, right?
But he'll
It's
fuck
a
you
mammal.
up, I feel like.
It's a mammal that lays eggs, that has a marsupial pouch, and sweats milk, and has poisoned daggers on its ankles.
Maybe he's the alien and he's been here the whole time.
Yeah, probably. He's E.T. He's waiting for his friends to come back and get
Right.
him.
Can we?
Million years. You fuckers left me here for 1,000,000 years.
Could we pet one of those motherfuckers?
Maybe in Australia.
I was gonna say we go to the zoo or something.
I don't know if there's a place. There's like an exhibit where you can pet platypuses.
Oh,
But I know in North Carolina there's a place where you can go see lemurs. You can't touch them, but if they touch you, it's okay.
oh yeah. Get conquered by the lemur fights.
Yeah, and all you,
gotta
gotta do.
go out there and let them climb on you.
Yeah,
We
you know how
gotta
you
go
do
out
it.
and film you doing that.
You know how you do it?
How?
Stuff your pockets full of craisins because they like craisins.
What about bacon?
No, they don't eat bacon. They eat
that's too
craisins.
bad.
So again, if you walk out there and all of a sudden you're covered in lemurs because they're digging craisins out of your pocket, I didn't tell you.
Right.
It's at Duke. It's next to Duke University. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh my.
It's in that area, North Carolina.
Send us an email if you go to the Craisinberry farm.
The lemur
And
exhibit.
let 'em touch
You
your-
could also have the lemurs paint you pictures.
Let them touch your berries.
Whoa,
Let the lemurs touch your berries.
that's a little personal.
It is. All right, we're going to get out of here. You guys go check out the 411, Missing 411. I think there's 4 episodes total. It's pretty fucked up.
Oh, there's more than that because
there's
there's two.
more? I thought he did 4 books.
No, yeah. There's more than one episode per.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So go check out all those guys. Enjoy those wonderful missing Bigfoot people. Let us know if you've ever found Bigfoot. Write the show. And continue to enjoy yourself. Joe Skelly AI, anything else?
Thanks.
Erp.